This evening, NGSA results announced today. Imposter security guards robbed GTT outlet at Giftland Mall. Two West Ruimveldt men busted trafficking cannabis in Berbice. In the region, Fernández De Kirchner, man and girlfriend planned Argentina's vice president attack. And internationally, who is King Charles III? Welcome to another broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update. I am Berbice. Thank you for joining us. The National Grade 6 Assessment 2022 results were announced earlier today. Snatching the top position this year were 3 students from 3 separate educational districts with 518 marks each. Newell Bancroft from Annandale Primary School, Angelica Sabrian from Cumberland Primary School, and Jonathan Gomez from Gisdelle's Educational Institute. 3 students also tied for the 4th position with 517 marks. Elijah Ram of Graham Hall Primary School, Elena Gangpat of Mays Under 12, and Sierra Prescott of Westfield Prep. The students that wrote the NGSA 2022 will begin their school term at their new schools on October 3rd, owing to the results only being released today. On July 6 and 7, 2022, more than 16,000 students took the NGSA examinations after spending more than a year at home due to the pandemic. Congratulations to all the students who wrote the National Grade 6 Assessment 2022 examination. On the west coast of Berbice, 2 men from West Ruimveldt were apprehended for cannabis trafficking. Dale Jarvis has more details.
Police ranks on duty in Regional Division No. 5 conducting a stop-and-search exercise at the Weldat Public Road, West Coast Berbice, nabbed 2 West Ruimveldt men with over 7,000 grams of cannabis on Wednesday, September 7th. The men were at the time traveling in a hire car with a driver and 2 other passengers when they were intercepted at the checkpoint. They were all asked to step out of the vehicle and take possession of their personal belongings. A search of 2 haversacks the 25-year-old laborers of West Ruimveldt Georgetown had in their possession unearthed 8 bulky parcels in one bag and 9 bulky parcels in the other, each containing several leaves, seeds, and stems suspected to be cannabis. They were both told of the offense, arrested, cautioned, and escorted into the Weldat police station with the suspected cannabis. The parcels were weighed and amounted to a total of 7,710 grams. The 2 suspects were placed in custody pending charges. Investigations are ongoing. Reporting for Headline News Update, Dale Jarvis.
Thanks, Dale. Following the incident last Sunday, the Demerara Harbour Bridge's planned retractions are expected to resume this weekend. While the bridge has reopened to vehicular traffic, it has not had a retraction since the retractors are not yet realigned. General Manager of the Demerara Harbour Bridge Corporation, Wayne Watson, said work to rectify the issue began Wednesday evening by Industrial Fabrications Incorporated. Once rectified, vessels will resume passing. However, it was pointed out by Watson that a test would be done before the rescheduled retraction recommences. Last Sunday, a passing vessel hit the bridge, which had served Guyanese for over 44 years, and shifted the section of alignment. Recognizing the importance of the bridge, the government has reinvested billions to maintain the thoroughfare throughout consecutive budgets. However, a $52 billion contract was signed for the reconstruction of a new Demerara River crossing. It will feature a modern 4-lane structure. The high-span bridge will eliminate the need for retractions. It will feature a cycle lane and have a lifespan of 100 years. Stick around after the break. Vicky Balvin charged and remanded to prison in connection with the fatal hit-and-run accident at Blankenberg, and Ghana Police Force investigating an armed robbery at a GTT store by 2 men masquerading as armed private security agents.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brick Dam and White Castle Fish Shop. Be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Welcome back. Vicky Balgobin, the driver involved in the fatal hit-and-run accident along the Blankenberg Public Road, West Coast Demerara, which left 42-year-old Azad Khan dead, was charged and remanded to prison on Wednesday, September 7th. Balgobin was charged with the offense of failing to render assistance to an injured person, failing to stop after an accident, and causing death by dangerous driving. Balgobin pleaded not guilty to the causing death charge and was remanded to prison. He pleaded guilty to the remaining charges, where he was fined $40,000 or 12 weeks imprisonment each. The court heard that 42-year-old Azad Khan was fatally struck down in the vicinity of Blankenberg Nursery School on Saturday, September 3rd. Reports said at around 7:45 p.m., Khan was walking across the roadway from north to south when he was struck by a black Allion motor car. The impact caused Khan's left leg to be broken off and catapulted 4 houses away. Khan's motionless body was picked up and taken to the West Demerara Regional Hospital and pronounced dead by a doctor on duty. Balgobin sped away from the scene. However, he later turned himself into the police and explained that he fled the scene because he panicked. Balgobin will return to court on October 26, 2022. Police are investigating reports of an alleged robbery under arms at GTT's store outlet at the Giftland Mall of over $19 million in cash and checks on Thursday, September 8th. The robbery was committed by 2 unidentified males armed with handguns and dressed in the uniform used by a private security service that usually uplifts money from the GTT Giftland outlet when it closes. According to the police report, a 27-year-old supervisor at the outlet said she and 5 other staff members were on duty at the GTT booth when the 2 suspects, wearing face masks and fully dressed in the security uniforms, approached her and checked the bags with the cash as per normal. One of the suspects went to the other staff members and brandished a handgun at them. They were instructed to get on the floor, to which they complied. The other suspect, who was in the supervisor's office, took a handgun from the waist of his pants and told the supervisor to go on the floor, which she did. The suspects placed duct tape on the hands and mouth of the GTT staffers and locked them in the booth. The perpetrators then took the $30 million in cash and over $6 million in checks and exited through the back door. In the Giftland parking lot, they entered a white all-model Ram with unknown number plates and headed east on the railway embankment. A short while after, the staff members were able to free themselves and raise an alarm. However, the suspects had already escaped. Several persons were questioned and statements were taken as investigations are ongoing. Don't go away after the break. EU energy ministers to meet in Brussels amid energy crisis, and earthquake in China's Sichuan kills 86 as landslides strike.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brickdam and White Castle Fish Shop. Be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lenders, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome back. Now we'll take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. A judge in Argentina charged a man and his girlfriend with attempting to kill Vice President Cristina Fernández De Kirchner last week. 35-year-old Fernández Montiel and his girlfriend, 23-year-old Brenda Juliard, denied involvement in the failed attack when a gun was pointed at the politician. The gunman's weapon jammed and the vice president was not hurt in the incident in the capital, Buenos Aires. But a judge said the action of the two suspects were planned and coordinated. The charges are preliminary and can still be modified. The incident happened on Thursday, 2nd September, as Ms. Fernández De Kirchner, 69, greeted supporters outside her home. Internationally, Prince Charles succeeds his mother on the British throne, becoming King Charles III. However, as Al Jazeera's Sonia Gallagher explains, the new king's political leaning may influence his reign.
He has been waiting for the longest time. There has never been any doubt of Prince Charles's desire to become king, but the sheer span of his mother's reign has left him becoming King Charles at relatively advanced years himself. And Charles may cut a more controversial figure as head of state than Queen Elizabeth II did. Married first to Diana Spencer, he began having an affair with Camilla Parker Bowles before Diana's tragic death. That in itself was a public relations problem.
Diana died so tragically in 1997. The challenge was, how does he, in inverted commas, rehabilitate Camilla, who was his mistress? And the answer to that was years of painstaking work, emphasizing her good qualities, the fact that she had and he had so much in common, they could laugh together, they were similar ages, had similar friends. Him and the Princess of Wales, of course, was not the case.
Charles's seeming detachment, a perceived aloofness, have frequently led to accusations that he is out of touch with his subjects, and that will matter far more once he takes the throne.
Creating sustainable food systems.
But there are other concerns too. For many years he has been writing private letters to government ministers, urging their interest in political issues close to his heart. These range from medicines, homeopathy, which is a favourite, to fish stocks, to the power of corporations over farmers. Convention states that members of the royal family are forbidden to express political opinions. When reporters have tried to ask, his aides have literally blocked them.
You've not been behaving unconstitutionally by writing letters like that.
So as king, will he be able to keep his opinions to himself? By tradition, the Prime Minister visits the monarch every week to tell her or him what's going on in government. It's only supposed to be an exercise in explaining policy and no more. A key question surrounding Charles's reign is whether he will reserve the right to tell the Prime Minister exactly what he thinks about decisions being taken by elected politicians.
It happens behind closed doors. We don't know the details of the conversations. We don't even know the remit for that conversation. So maybe that has to be opened up so as we can say, well, that is a good thing, that's a healthy thing, or maybe there's areas which it shouldn't be happening.
From the sound of it, he has been advised to keep quiet.
He knows very well what is expected of him as king. He has strong views on things in national life, that's true, but I think he's also got a very strong awareness from an early age from the Queen and from his own training and his own judgment that as a constitutional monarch you have to be a little bit more circumspect, and I'm sure that he will be.
As the former Duke of Cornwall, Charles will also leave behind an enormous business empire in the southwest of England. It's worth more than $1 billion and has been accused of helping drive local traders out of business. And that, perhaps, is a particular concern for supporters of the monarchy, which, as of now, is a large majority in the UK. The question is whether he can maintain that popularity. Queen Elizabeth kept her support during many years, when the behaviour of her family raised many eyebrows.
The Colonel of the Regiment and the Duchess of Cambridge.
And it's unarguable that in terms of the brand of the House of Windsor, Charles's son William and his wife Catherine are seen as a more exciting proposition, more glamorous than a man who seems often to prefer his own company to that of others. Charles has no doubt had many years to dwell on these things. His choices will help determine whether support for the monarchy continues as it is now.
Charles, Prince of Wales.
Sonia Gallego, Al Jazeera.
European Union energy ministers are gathering in Brussels today to discuss measures to stop the surge in prices of gas and electricity. They are under pressure to shield businesses and consumers. Al Jazeera's Natasha Butler reports.
In the Paris suburb of Sèvres, Fauzi is packing. For a decade, he ran a charity mainly for young people in the area, but he had to shut it because of government funding cuts. He says the closure is a huge loss for the neighbourhood because there are few activities, people are poor, and rising prices are making their lives harder.
If you only have one income at home, you just can't survive until the end of the month. You can't keep up because energy, fuel, food, everything's more expensive.
Fauzi was one of the leaders of France's Yellow Vests, a protest movement sparked by high fuel prices 4 years ago. He says it feels like nothing has changed, that costs keep increasing, and it's the poorest that suffer most.
Energy bills are going up, and I hear Emmanuel Macron say it's the end of abundance, and we all need to make sacrifices. Well, I'm sorry, but we were in the streets back then because we were already making sacrifices.
Soaring energy prices are fueling inflation, but also discontent among people who are struggling financially, and not only in France, but across parts of Europe. And some say that unless things get better, the EU could face a winter of social unrest. A new report by the EU's Trade Union Confederation says most low-income workers in the bloc will have to spend more than a month's salary on energy bills this winter. This week, people demonstrated in the German cities of Berlin and Leipzig.
I'm protesting against rampant inflation, and I want excess profits to be taxed to help ordinary people.
EU governments are scrambling to wean the bloc off Russian energy and maintain political pressure on Moscow. But unless they succeed in shielding consumers from high bills, they could face a public backlash as frustration grows with spiralling costs. Natasha Butler, Al Jazeera, Sèvres.
And finally, the number of people killed during an earthquake in southwest China has now risen to 86. The 6.8 magnitude quake hit Sichuan province on Monday, causing extensive damage. Al Jazeera's Stephanie Decker has more.
Getting to survivors is difficult. A magnitude 6.8 earthquake shook southwestern China on Monday. Remote villages are among the worst affected. Heavy rains have also challenged rescue efforts, creating landslides and floods.
The firefighters helped us today. We had 6 people on the boat, one of whom is an old woman. When we got off, a firefighter put her on his back and carried her to safety. Without them, we wouldn't have been able to leave, as there were quite a few aftershocks.
Firemen and the army have been battling the tough terrain for days.
We evacuated over 30 people in 4 hours. It took us 20 minutes to get the boat from the wharf to the village every time. We evacuated 3 elderly people, the oldest being 90 years old. It's always challenging to get them out, so we use stretchers to carry them down from the village.
Rescue efforts continue in the more built-up areas too. People have been buried alive under the rubble for days. Weather warnings remain in place. The earthquake is the strongest to hit Sichuan province in years. Strict COVID lockdowns and daily testing rules are also hampering operations amid a resurgence of the virus. Rescuers must undergo daily testing, and no one from outside the province can enter. People have also been told to stay at home in the capital Chengdu, where aftershocks are still being felt. Stephanie Decker, Al Jazeera.
And that is it for today's regional and international news. Here now is your 3-day weather forecast. And that is all for this edition of Channel 2's Headline News Update. Tune in on Monday at 7 p.m. for another episode. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other and do have a wonderful weekend.